Hello everyone, good evening. It is 8 PM, it is Wednesday evening, and I was able to get a nap winner today. Hopefully you all got on Wednesday's selection and you were able to bash those bookies. I'm doing Thursday's selections a little bit earlier. There are 6, that's right, 6 I'm going to be discussing this video. So without further ado, it's time for today's tips. Obviously, I am Rory Paddock for picksfromthepaddock.co.uk, being broadcast to you live on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube with my selections for Thursday's racing. Now, unlike my selections for Dundalk yesterday where I went for some rank outsiders, these selections are going to be pretty short prices, but I'm hoping we can grab a handful that make sure that they end up with their nose in front at the winning line. So without further ado, let's run through Thursday's action, a few race previews, and obviously give my best bets of the day. The first one comes in the 12:15 at Down Royal, and if the head of the market is anything to go by, then the opening race at Down Royal looks set to be a duel between stablemates. The more fancied runner is Funlight, whose form when second behind the Boss's Oscar and ahead of the likes of Jon Snow looks some of the best available. However, at a current price of 11 to 10 on, with nearly a year on the sidelines, making their return to action, still a few question marks over the horse's head, it looks a time in which, as a punter, he's worth taking on. Now, he may very well bolt up and dominate and, after such an absence, it'd be impressive if he did that. But at 4 to 1, if you can find a bookie that's paying a quarter of the odds, an each way bet to nothing, then I'm going to go with the lesser fancied stablemate, Battle of Actium. He looks the way to go. He has the benefit of a recent run under his belt, and that third placed effort doesn't look a bad run either. I can't see past the 2 O'Brien trained horses, but I'm hoping that lesser fancied one of the 2 can come out on top in the open at the 12:15 Battle of Actium. Sticking with Down Royal, we find my next selection an hour and a half later in the 1:45, and I'm a fan of jockey Rachel Blackmore. However, I do feel that she's more adept in chase races than any other form of national hunt contest, and she's taking up her mount on a Rahikan. Has a lively chance in the 2 mile 4 furlong chase. Despite the fact he's a 7-race maiden, his performance at Cork on seasonal return was solid and certainly gave him a good grounding to build upon now as a chaser. I think he's a horse that's going to be more adept to chasing, and I don't feel the heavy ground suited him last time out either. So this better ground and drop-in trip should play into his hands. That's Arahikan in the 1:45 at Down Royal, my second selection over in Ireland. We then come over to English soils in Hereford, the 12:55, and a winner in their sole point-to-point start under supervision aims to remain unbeaten, now taking their first step under rules. The Nigel Twiston-Davies trained runner has plenty of scope, and although he finds himself up against more experienced types, the 4-year-old could have a touch of class and shouldn't be far away. So in the 12:55 at Hereford, going with the favourite under supervision. The final race on the card at Hereford sees me side with a horse who hails from a top yard, who only have the 2 runners at the 7-race card. Ollie Murphy sends just 2 horses here, and their runner, Miss Gold Den, aims to improve upon her 3rd placed finish at Warwick on debut. It'd be silly of me not to acknowledge the fact that, well, with such little form to go off, it's a really hard race to decipher. However, I hope she'll improve more so than her rivals, especially having that run. With that race under her belt, Miss Golden looks the one to be as the favourite in the 3:40 at Hereford. I then take it a little bit different sort of angle. I'm taking another 2 races, although this time they come on the all-weather on the flat on Thursday night's meeting from Chelmsford. A very, very obvious selection in the first. And I'm going to side with the favourite. Yes, it's odds on, but I can't see past it in the opener. I reckon James Doyle's going to have a really, really good night. He's on some really well fancied horses at Chelmsford, so I couldn't put you off backing any of his mounts this Thursday evening. And I think the Attorney is probably his best ride of the meeting in the opening race. Of the 14 major daily newspapers, 13 of them have all tipped up this horse. It's Charlie Hills' runner, can atone for defeat when a beaten favourite last time out. Spirit Level is the one I fear the most, and looks to me to be the one that will chase home our selection. But I know it's obvious, but the Attorney shouldn't be far away and should be claiming their first success in the 420 at Chelmsford. And last but by no means least, in the following race, I've opted to side with another 2-year-old who finished third there last time out. Based on the current market, there's just the 2 runners who have the strongest chances and are currently vying for favouritism as we speak. The Andrew Balding trained Melody of Life and Roger Variant's Puy Mary, both placed on their debuts and aim to go even better this time around. They're very hard to split, very closely matched, but Ryan Moore seems to be on somewhat of a crest of a wave at the moment and has found himself in the winner's enclosure relatively frequently of late. The pair shouldn't be far away, and I'm opting for the Chiefly Park contingent this time around. That's Puy Mary in the 455 at Chelmsford to round off my 6 selections. I know that they're all relatively short priced, so, we're not expecting some ginormous, big priced outsider to romp home. I'd probably recommend doing them in doubles, trebles, some sort of combinations, but those are my 6. Thanks for any support. Hopefully you got on today's winning nap. Hopefully we'll have some more winners tomorrow. But as always, good luck if you follow.